Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this time I'm reviewing this 2018 Infiniti Q50 3.0T. This is the Luxe trim. The color is pure white with the graphite interior. And this review is going to be a little different since it was pre-recorded, but the experience is going to be somewhat similar, but I'm going to kind of get everything pretty quickly here. So I rented this car from Hertz Rental in Greensboro, North Carolina, and Piedmont Trine Airport. And I had a good experience there with that rental car company. The car was new, had low miles, it was clean. You know, the car was overall in good shape. My overall experience driving the car, I think it's a perfect car for a family of four or even smaller. Someone looking for that sports sedan, but doesn't really want anything over the top. Just something a little bit maybe nicer than what you'll find in like a Maxima or, you know, a Camry or something like that. So it does have a nice sporty ride, but if you're looking for something that, you know, great handling, you know, there's also higher trim of this car, which is called the Red Sport 400, has beefer suspension and 400 horsepower, basically as a up-tuned version of this engine. But definitely, I think this is a perfect car for someone who's just looking for just a nicer car with a little more power. I'm gonna go over a few things. One of the things I really like about this car was just how it looks. It looks very menacing, no matter which angle you look at it from. I mean, it just has this mean look. I noticed this style is getting a little long in the tooth. It's been out since 2014, but I can never get over just how mean this car looks. You know, with the Daytona lights on, you know, during the day, it just seems like this car means business. And even at night, the car has full LED headlights, fog lights, turn signals, high beam. Everything is LED on this car, which gives this car a nice, crisp look at night. It's clean lighting. The headlights have good range. This one did not have the adaptive headlights. There is an adaptive headlight option for this car, but this particular model did not. But overall, I didn't feel like the headlights were weak at any point. They actually seem more like borderline daylight. You know, it had a nice, cool blue look to it. You know, minimize fatigue over long drives. And even since it's 2018, they updated the tail lights as well with the LED turn signal. So I'm just going to do just a complete walk around of the car with the lights on, just so you can see what I'm talking about, just the overall lighting on this car. Definitely gives it like an upscale look. And if you want the look, but you don't really care more about the performance, there's also a pure trim that comes in a 2-liter turbo. And we'll discuss more of the engines later, but the 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder is Mercedes sourced, and it pumps out 211 horsepower as opposed to this model's 300 horsepower V6. Now, as we're getting inside the car, I want to demonstrate Infiniti's intelligent key. Has a physical button to lock the car, with also placing your hand behind the door handle unlocks the car. But I was surprised to see that it didn't have any sensors on the rear door. And that could be a handy feature, especially when you have kids, and, you know, for a car this size, most people would have kids. And if you just open that rear door, it would be helpful to have the intelligent key access on those doors. But similar to what Nissan's been doing, Infiniti been doing in the past, you get a audible tone by locking with the intelligent key, and then locking with the physical key in your hand with the lock button just sounds the horn as a confirmation. And as we're seeing here inside, it's got leather interior, which is standard with this Luxe trim. It's got some video ports. Not sure what that's for. Maybe possible if you don't watch my YouTube channel. on the car screen. Some contrast stitching in different places in the console. It does have different settings here if I'm cycling through right now. And I'm averaging 25.8 mile per gallon with this. Kind of gives me that Audi-like setup with the center information screen. All four windows are fully automatic for opening and closing. And as I scan across the interior, you'll see that it has automatic headlights as well as automatic wipers. And when the headlights are in auto, this is the first Japanese car I've seen where if the headlights are in auto and the wipers are in auto and it detects rain or the wipers go to low speed, the headlights turn automatically. I think that's the first. I think more manufacturers should start doing this. Here's the drive mode selector, and using this selector changes between different drive modes. It just changes the steering feel and the throttle response. Unfortunately, there is no adjustable dampers with this car, so the suspension is going to be the same no matter what setting you have. And you can obviously personalize it with the individual setting. You can go in to the main screen here and customize more that way. There's different apps. I recommend if you buy this car to get the navigation, because without that top screen is just a clock. Going over the top here, you can see the dashboard. It's like I said, it's just it's a faux leather. It's not true, but I can always appreciate that contrast stitching there. And even the steering wheel has the same contrast stitching, and I can see Infiniti is going the right direction, by doing this luxury. And they've always done this before, but it seems like they're increasing their quality a little bit more. And here has a sunglass holder, which is pretty useless for most sunglasses. I don't know why they put these in cars that obviously can't handle anything more than like tiny eyeglasses. But, it's there, and if you do have something that fits, it's there for you. Has each driver and passenger has his own vanity mirror, which is be expected with the car of this class. There's no panoramic roof with this car. Just your basic sunroof, slides and tilts. I think that'd be something that they might do in the future, because a lot of the competitors like the Lexus ES, even the Toyota Camry now offers a panoramic roof. So that may be something that Infiniti should probably do to remain competitive. Here I'm gonna show the back seat, and I'm gonna cover that later in more detail. And you can see on the side of the door, just the design of the leather. On this next feature, I want to talk about briefly the active trace control, which is here in this menu. And that's more of an extension of the electronic stability program, whereas normally an ESP activates in the event of lost control. This feature is more of a help you corner type of thing, where it uses the ESP to help the car on sharp curves to get a little bit more of a turn in. So next I'm gonna cover the trunk room, and you'll be surprised how much trunk space this car has. I was able to stuff 2 large suitcases, a carry-on, and 2 kid-size carry-on inside of this car. The car swallowed it pretty easily. And here I am in the front seat, and I'm, like I said, I'm 5'8". And the rear seat room was generous. I was pretty comfortable. I could probably stand this car with the road trip, no problem. Plenty of room. There's, cup holders here and lots of headroom. So moving on to the powertrain, we have Nissan's 3-liter twin-turbo V6 that pumps out 300 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. Since that torque is available at 1600 RPM, you do get that low RPM turbo shove in the back of the seat when you're accelerating. And there's also an available 400 horsepower engine with the Red Sport 400, and there's also a Mercedes provided a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that's 211 horsepower. One thing I will miss is that outgoing VQ series that had that 30 exhaust note. Something that this VR series can't replicate.